Hey guys, it's Michelle, and I wish I could be telling you that I am bringing you the latest Q posts, but there are no latest Q posts. Q has not posted today, nor did he post yesterday, but I do want to speak about something that is of great concern, not only to myself, but to the movement as a whole. It's important because there's a lot of division happening right now. There's a lot of backbiting, there's a lot of infighting, and there's we're being divided, and I think that it's coming from one source in particular right now, and that is concerning me. So I'm going to get into this. I certainly don't want to tell you how to think, but I am going to lay this all out for you and let you make up your own decision. I think it's important for us to understand this and to see before with our very own eyes what is happening, and so that we don't fall for it. Because I'll tell you right now, I stand for Q and I stand for the President of the United States, and that's where my loyalties lie right now. Of course, my first and foremost loyalty is to the Lord, but I also support the President of the United States, and I certainly support Q. I think that there's been enough evidence, as far as I'm concerned, the coordination between POTUS and Q, and the things that have happened, and the foreknowledge of things that were going to happen, that did happen. There's enough evidence there for me, and so let me just get into this. I was going to also do some Q-related news, but I think that this is the most important thing right now. So I just want to be on the record so that you'll know where I stand, and perhaps later I'll do another video with Q-related news. Now, this is the second video I've done tonight. The first one did not have any video. You had the audio but no video, and of course it is important that you read along, that you see where I'm getting this stuff from. So anyway, I am redoing it. So I want to show you this post first off by John Salisbury. I do follow him on Twitter, and for the most part like his posts. Have not seen anything that I disagree with so far. Anyway, he wrote that the questions I've got that no one can answer yet concerning Dr. Corsi. Why is Dr. Corsi the only one being targeted by 8chan? What is causing the apparent change in Dr. Corsi? Why is Q not coming out and remarking on this obvious crisis? Well, as we go along, we're going to see what has happened and what is happening, and be better informed to make our own decisions. So, interestingly enough, after John Salisbury posted this, Dr. Corsi banned him. And that seems to be the going thing. Anybody that questions him at all or says anything about Dr. Corsi gets banned. So we're going to go out to his link. Actually, this first link may not be his link. Let me just go see what this is. This is actually Jerome Corsi's Facebook or Twitter page, and I think we can tell where his heart is just by looking at some of these tweets that he's, given recently. And let me see here. Well, this is a new one. This is just as of 14. This is just 14 minutes ago. Oh, I forgot to look. Did all-knowing, all-wise, legit QAnon predict Schneiderman demise? I must have missed it in QAnon prediction of Mueller demise at real Donald Trump. Goodbye, Schneiderman jerk. Mueller next. So he's really gotten very belligerent, combative, and very puffed up and full of pride, and just outright angry. And it's pretty obvious from his Facebook or his Twitter feed, and it's going to be even more obvious to us in a few minutes. So these are all new tweets that I had not seen yet. So another premise of 1295, and he's talking about, oh, I'm not sure, this is by somebody else, let me see. Okay, this person called Deplorable Truth said to Jerome Corsi, if they recruited you to deal with terrorists, no wonder there was a rise of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. And Corsi responds, you are a really clever boy. I bet they taught you to read in grade school. And here's his response to another tweet. Now, of course, this tweet is unavailable, but he said, you are badly mistaken if you think I am irritated. When I co-authored Unfit for Command in 2004, I knew I was in for abuse from the hard left. I had top secret clearance with the State Department, recruited to deal with terrorists. You guys are amateurs. And down here, somebody called Born Woke said to him, don't forget about cutting off money from KSA, bad princes, and select targeting of the Afghan drug processing plants and cutting the deep state supply line after the Langley raid netted the needed intel. Oh yeah, ending the 70-year war and destroying the DS's nukes, deep state's nuke, Mount Lair. And right now, this person, Born Woke, is actually talking about the things that the president has achieved. And Jerome Corsi says, it may not have occurred to you, but deep state coup d'etat traitors, Rod Rosenstein, Strzok, Page, Mueller, and company still believe they will impeach POTUS despite all these accomplishments. But silly me, I thought QAnon, trust the plan, had something to do with indicting deep state criminals. So he just skips over all these achievements and says, well, you know, Rod Rosenstein, Strzok, Page, and Mueller still believe they will impeach POTUS despite all these accomplishments. Well, so what? So what? Does that make the accomplishments null and void? No. And then he says, but silly me, I thought QAnon, trust the plan, had something to do with indicting deep state criminals. Oh. Anyway, so then Michael Berkeley says, are you talking about this? Now, this is too small, even when I enlarge it, for me to see what he's talking about. But he says, pretty clever, Michael Berkeley. But if that's the best you can come up with, you're an amateur. Now for abuse over Unfit for Command 2004 or in 2008, when Obama trolls came up with much better dirt over Obama Nation than in 2011. Hey, you must be one of those Obama lovers. I mean, it's just he's abusing everybody on his... I mean, and here's Bruce Biko. He says, wow, Q must have hit too close to home. Did he hurt your feelings? What a sudden flip. For someone who has done a lot of analysis on Q posts, you certainly missed his true meaning. And, of course, he says, mind if I borrow your cereal box decoder ring? Seems you plugged into QAnon's secret squirrel meanings I just plain missed. Silly me, thinking follow the plan. Patriots don't profit sounded compromised. Kind of like that Karl Marx. Trust me, here's how history works, guys. Yeah. And one more here. Here's Roger Seeger Jr. said, I love when one of his acolytes has a different opinion on the stream and Corsi jumps his shit and the accolade says, well, I guess you're right, Dr. Corsi, like a smitten schoolgirl doing what the class bad boy tells her to. Ask Jerome Corsi about Mel Rockefeller and Poland. And Corsi says, oh yes, you want an ancient history lesson. Let's start here. In second grade, my mother moved me to St. Philomena's on Euclid Avenue, and I objected, but did no good. Teacher was Sister Kevin. I couldn't figure out how a nun had a name like Kevin, but I guess it wasn't important. I mean, what the heck? And let's do one more. Jerome, do you have different information that Sessions isn't investigating? If so, I agree with you. Do you dispute Q and the timetable of indictments? How do you know that they are failing patriots? Is it possible they are working to complete cases without leaking? And Jerome Corsi says, so Jeff Sessions has a secret squirrel inquiry so deep behind closed doors that Rod Rosenstein has to hide it from Congress while FBI refuses to investigate Strzok Page messages and Manafort is indicted for 2005 while Flynn didn't lie at POTUS. Guess I need QAnon cereal box decoder ring to get it. So that's just a sampling of, how he has flipped and is being a little bit, I guess the word would be belligerent. Now, here's another post by John Salisbury, and instead of this, I'm going to just take you out to his Twitter page. And he says, 1. Dr. Corsi, Q and the movement, a quick update on the latest. After discussing and getting cussed out, this with several people, what I've learned is this. Regarding Q, 8chan, QAnons, Dr. Corsi, and Patriot Soapbox seem to be tangled in a big mess. And that is an understatement. 2. There are lots of accusations flying around and sides are starting to be drawn. For some reason, a real Hatfields and McCoys is starting. People are being blocked and people are being skank-memed at an alarming rate. At this point, I don't get any good news from anybody. Why? 3. But here's what I know and what I'm going to stick with. A. The Patriot movement is strong. B. The Patriot morale is high. C. There are many things to talk about that do not involve this Corsi Q mess. D. Many things are in the works, and we still have people to wake up. I agree with all of that. 4. So I can't speak for anybody else, but I can say what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this whole mess to the side and wait for better info on what the problem solution is going to be. Right now, there are bigger fish to fry. Expanding prayers, waking people up, digging more. One thing I am certain of, we can't continue onward with QAnons and TQ fam and we'll be just fine. This movement was never about one person and never will be. So let's get back to Make America Great Again and slaying the deep state. This other nonsense will sort itself out in time. So that is basically where I am. I think we need to move on. This movement is not about one person. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about Corsi. It's about all of us. It's about Americans. And, you know, anyone that is trying to be a superstar in this is probably not in the right frame of mind. So we need to work together. None of us have all the answers, and if we think we do, we are sorely mistaken. We are deceived. So we need one another. We all have different points of views. We all have different frames of references, and we all have knowledge about different things. So we can help one another, and that's what we should be doing, and we need to keep our eyes focused ahead. We need to put blinders on in a sense so that we're not being pulled to the left or the right, that we're looking ahead, not that we're blindly following. I'm not saying that at all. We still need to question, and we still need to, dig. Definitely, we need to be researching for ourselves and not just taking someone's word for it. And I don't want anybody to take my word for anything because when I decode, obviously, a lot of that is just my opinion, but it's based on research, but I still expect that people make up their own mind. Of course, we never put our mind in gear and just take someone else's word for everything. So anyway, I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you more because I want you to be fully aware, fully aware of what is happening and make your own decision from there. Now, this person was the, let me see where, hang on here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so I can, okay, now this is by a person called Strazy, and let me see, she runs the Great Awakening Forum on Vote. So, she said, I supported Corsi and Calm Before the Storm stream for months. Every time Q posts, I too make a post organizing all screenshots and links. I would always add theirs. See image below. So this is just an example of one of her posts. This happens to be from April 18th, and she posts the links, and down below she puts annotated for newbies, images from Q posts, links from Q posts, and down here showing that you know, she was not against Corsi or anyone else. She said, here are a couple of 24/7 live feeds of Anons / researchers. They interact through YouTube chat and Discord. Calm Before the Storm live YouTube. Jerome Corsi joins the discussion a couple times a day. And then she has down here, follow Jerome Corsi. He decodes Q posts. And she puts Jerome Corsi Twitter, Gab, and YouTube. And she did this, of course, to show that she had always been supportive of Corsi. But now she said, as most of you know, Q made a post on April 29th telling us to be careful who we follow because some are out to make money, gain followers, and go mainstream. And here is the post from Q. It is dated April 29th, and it says, be careful who you are following. Some are profiting off this movement. Some are building a big following off this movement, only then to retreat and go mainstream. Patriots make sacrifices. Some, the ultimate sacrifice. Patriots are selfless. Do they ask for monthly payments to remain patriots? Think logically. To some, it's only about the money. Those who would seek personal gain at the expense of others in this movement has an agenda. You decide. This is not a game. The only profit we should all be striving for is true freedom. God bless you all, Q. Now, many people voiced that they thought Q was referring to Jerome Corsi and the Calm Before the Storm Patriot Soapbox, which is the live feed that Corsi goes on often. See screenshots below. And this is let me make this a little bigger for you. And, okay, sorry, lost my place when I made it bigger. Okay, so this is just showing that, you know, here's Q's post, be careful who you're following. And then it says premium creator, Jerome Corsi. Let me make it even bigger. And of course, when I do that, I lose my place again. Okay. Nope, that's not it. This is why I hesitate sometimes to make it bigger. Okay, here we are. So, and for those of you that are really irritated with me because of the clicking, I am going to get a mouse. I just have not had a chance yet, but I am going to get one and try to see if it makes a difference and to see if it is less irritating. But for now, hang with me. So, here we are, and here's the post by Q, and down here it says Premium Creator. Jerome Corsi publishes premium content. You can subscribe to support their work and unlock exclusive content. Subscribe. And over here, of course, he says, I am joining Patriot Soapbox 24/7 live chat. Now, Sunday, April 29th at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time to discuss QAnon posts from today. QAnon cautioning that people who profit from QAnon 8chan Great Awakening are not to be trusted. That's not what he said. Join us, retweet. Now, then down here, she says it certainly doesn't help his case that he's going to be charging for premium content on his Gab channel. What's he going to do? Charge for screenshots of Anon's decodes? The sad part is there are plenty of people who would probably pay for it. Now, when she talks about screenshots of Anon's decodes, on 8chan, a lot of times the Anons will put a screenshot, you know, with side-by-side information or so forth. Sometimes I grab those. And I tell you that I've grabbed this from the 8chan board because I know that some of you are not out there surfing the 8chan board because it's notoriously hard to navigate. So I grab those for you and, you know, I put them in the video and tell you where I got them from. And the same with Twitter when I grab things from Twitter. Basically, though, I think what Corsi was planning on doing or was doing was charging for these Anon's decodes. He would grab them and take them and then charge for them like premium as premium content. Now, it says all my QAnon decode videos are now being posted on my gab.ai account, gab.ai at / Jerome Corsi, as well as on my YouTube channel. I am soon going to add premium content to my gab.ai account, reports from various Anon experts at Real Donald Trump. So basically what he's saying is these are the reports that the Anons decoded, not Corsi. And that was one of the, things that I did not personally like about the 24/7 soapbox thing, because whenever I listened, they weren't actually decoding, they were discussing things. Now, that's fine, that's absolutely fine, but that's not what I was looking for, because I don't have a lot of time, and so I didn't want to just listen to people discuss it. I wanted to actually discuss decoding it. So for me, my time was much better spent in my own research and digging for myself than there. So that's not anything against them personally. That's just me. But I'm a different sort. I really, really enjoy digging and finding things for myself. Not everybody is like that. And that's perfectly fine. It takes us all. Now, Patriot Soapbox, We the People, is the 24-hour live feed at Jerome Corsi that Jerome Corsi goes on. See for yourselves the things they have said. I don't have anything to say about them publicly at this point. I'll keep my eyes open. Now, this is interesting, and I didn't realize this was going on, but I was a little bit shocked when I saw this, because I just don't happen to agree with it. That's fine. I don't have to agree with it, and it's a free country. But I think honestly, this is what Q was pointing at. So here's the Patriot Soapbox is creating interactive news media. So there are different levels on their Patreon account. They can subscribers can buy them a large coffee, which is $15 or more per month. We need coffee to keep on running. Help give us the charge we need by pledging a large coffee to support the station. We will reward you with our greatest thanks. Thank you. And $15 for a thank you. So, and I put a coffee link on mine, and it's completely voluntary. I'm not going to change my my videos, based on that. I mean, buy me a coffee and I'll do an extra special video. I mean, no way. To me, it's like a tip, and it's completely voluntary, and I appreciate it, but I don't, expect it. And so, that's why I didn't do a Patreon account. Not that I'm against anybody that does one. It's just for me, it just wasn't the decision that I wanted to make, because I didn't want people to feel that they had to keep giving money to me for me to keep making videos. That's just not me. And I'm not putting anyone down that's made that decision either. That is completely their decision. But so that's the first level, was a large coffee, and the second level was a town hall meeting, question and answer. And if you gave $40 or more a month, then you got access to special town hall meeting with the Patriot Soapbox crew, where you could ask questions and they'd give you the answers, like they have all the answers, or an hour twice a month in a private call. So then I don't know why these people think that they have the answers. I mean, I don't know. But I don't think that any of us have all the answers. I think that's why it takes all of us. I learn as much from you guys as I'm sure you learn from me. So, and I'm sure you guys learn from one another looking at the comments. So, and then the next step up was the Patriot Pledge, and that's $100 or more per month. With the Patriots Pledge, you get a once-a-day Patriot Pledge shout-out on the 24/7 live stream, where your pledge to us is memorialized in history as we make news media great again. You also get an invite to the town hall meeting, so you get a personal shout-out on their live stream, like big deal. And then the cable replacement, 165 or more per month. With the Patriot's cable replacement, you get rid of your old cable network and help fund our endeavor. We will create a private video diary once a month with an inside look at the creation of our network, along with the access of our twice-a-month private call meeting and 24/7 live stream mention. So, the more you give, I guess, the more you get. I don't know. Sorry. Now, then there's the big one, and that's 5,000 or more per month. 5,000 or more per month? 5,000? Like, wow. We have big plans and hope to get there soon. We need all the help we can get. Right now, we offer a free 24/7 live stream channel and hope to have more to share soon. This tier is for big supporters, and we can offer everything in the other tiers with a goal to include and share more with you soon. So you don't get more soon. You know, you don't get anything more right now than if you just pledged 165 or more, and then the big jump up to 5,000, but you don't get anything more than you do in the other plans, but they have plans to give you something more soon. And so anyway, this tier is for big supporters, and we can offer everything in the other tiers with a goal to include and share more with you soon. There is no level of thanks that can adequately convey this level of support. No, I'd be very thankful for $5,000 a month as well. You know, that'd be great. Yeah. I'm not going to hold my breath on that. And I don't know. Anyway, okay. So, and this is just more. Welcome to our newest Patreon members. Thank you for supporting us. We'd love to have a private voice chat with all of you at some point in the next day or two if we can get you all on at once. We'll chat later on today. New at Patreon Insider members, you all have a special text channel and voice channel. Check out Patreon subscribers only and the accompanying voice chat channel, Patreon subscribers voice. I'd love to have a private chat with all of you sometimes later if we can get all of you on at once. So we'll get Jerome Corsi and Brainstorm to join us as well. Okay, so 8chan Anons started adding up how much Corsi was making per live stream. He did live streams with Patriot Soapbox, and he did super chats of his own. I believe that the following is just from 2 super chats. Now, I've never done a super chat or a live stream, so I have no idea, you know, how you make money from that or how that works, because I've just never done it, and I've had no desire to. But so I can't pretend that I know how he's making money from that. But Corsi Donation Watch, results from yesterday's video. Yesterday's total equals 524. April 30th total is 350, so two-day total is 874. So, one of my favorites, at Lisa May 62, made a tweet saying that people said he brings in $3,000 per show. I don't know if that is correct, but Lisa May is very credible. After tweeting that, Corsi blocked her. He blocked me as well. Lisa May Crowley, I've never watched any of Corsi's live stream QAnon decode videos, but people who do say he rakes in an average of $3,000 per show from patriots hungry for the truth. And Lisa May Crowley, she's saying to Jerome Corsi, was it something I said? Because it says you are blocked from following at Jerome Corsi. Now you would think that he would have said to her, okay, that's not correct. I don't make that much from you know, a live stream. That I do make something, but it's more in the line of whatever. But he didn't. He just blocked her. After Q made the warning post, Corsi became unhinged. And yes, I absolutely agree with that. He began making videos and tweets saying that Q was preaching communism and socialism, that there was nothing wrong with making money off the movement. Below is just one of many. Jerome Corsi, what leader of at Real Donald Trump movement post-socialist communist attack on money turns against loyal supporters and divides their own movement? Clowns compromise Q, trolls multiply. Q 1316-17, better, but still nothing but open source info. Time for riddles over. QAnon, now a plus. I guess because QAnon sometimes put Q plus. Now, this is very presumptuous. It's meant to agitate, and it's extremely prideful. What leader of a movement post-socialist communist attack on money and turns against loyal supporters and divides their own movement? Now, I don't think either Q or Donald Trump was doing any such thing. They were not dividing their own movement at all. And I don't think that clowns have compromised Q in the least. Not in the least. And there's no proof otherwise. And trolls multiply, absolutely. But what does that have to do with Q? That only proves that Q is a threat. Why would there be trolls if there was nothing to troll? Excuse me for a second. Sorry, I was kind of slurped that water back, but okay. So time for riddles over. Well, I think that Q will decide when the time for riddles is over, not you, Mr. Corsi, or Dr. Corsi. And here's another thing. Okay, and I'm not calling him out because I have no idea whether this applies to him or not. But did you know that more than 60%, it may even be higher than that, of the doctorates in the United States are fake? They come from diploma mills. So I would just be interested to know where his doctorate comes from. Now, I am not, please don't send me nasty notes because I only ask this because I don't know. I'm not saying that it's fake. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that a lot of the evangelicals that claim to be doctors, they're fake because I did a huge investigation into that. A lot of them that call themselves doctors are not doctors. They paid for their PhD from a diploma mill. So I'm just asking. I don't know. When it comes to Jerome Corsi, I don't know. I'm just thinking that this behavior that I'm seeing here it's immature. And it's surprising to me. Because I always had respect for Dr. Corsi. I didn't know too much about him. But so anyway, let's go on. This wasn't even the first time that Corsi became unglued and disrespected our president and Q. Here are some screenshots of some of his angry, disrespectful tweets from the week before. I hear he's at Real Donald Trump, at QAnon. I hear Paris is nice this time of year. Why don't you guys go on vacation until 2021? Let's duke it out over redactions and docs we, the people, can't see. Maybe we can hire somebody to read you that little book I wrote. Might be a good idea. Now, that is extremely disrespectful and prideful. Extremely prideful. Who does he think he is? Oh, let's duke it out over redactions and docs we the people can't see. Maybe we can hire somebody to read you that little book I just wrote. Like, what is that supposed to mean? That he can't read for himself? That I think if he wanted to read it, he would read it himself. Don't you? I mean, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm almost 100% certain that Donald Trump is smarter than Jerome Corsi. I'm just saying. So, let's duke it out over redactions and docs. Like, he sounds like a little child in the candy aisle of a grocery store whose daddy won't get him the chocolate bar. But I want a Hershey bar. I want it. Give me. Like, seriously, just his attention. He wants attention. Why aren't you paying attention to me, Daddy? Why? Oops. That's how it sounds to me. I mean, Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's exactly how it sounds to me. Now here's another one. Hey, QAnon and at real Donald Trump. When do you call a plumber? When the toilet is backed up, like it is right now with redacted and sealed Strzok Page and JFK documents. Makes the joint stink. We the people have a solution. Take a vacay. Go eat some escargot and take a good book with you. And then of course, he has a picture of his book. Like, yeah, it's a good book. Always pushing that book. Pushing that book. Pushing that book. Pay attention to me, Daddy. Pay attention. I need. Pay attention to me. So, here's the next one. So exactly how is it you guys lost your nerve at real Donald Trump and QAnon at Jeff Sessions put me to sleep today? Blah, blah, blah. Where are the indictments? What? Comey got your knickers bunched up? And about those redacted FBI lover 10 pages, JFK 2021, it's a joke, right? Yeah, I'd say he's a little unhinged. A little. Blah, blah, blah. Where are the indictments? Jeff Sessions put me to sleep today. And here's the next one. Look, QAnon and at real Donald Trump. Enough is enough. At POTUS has enormous powers. Mind if we, the people, borrow them for a while? Yes, we would do such a better job than you would, Donald Trump. We, the people, need to borrow your power for a little while so that we can do your job because you're not doing it. Maybe you could hire someone to read the book to you, my book to you. We need your power so we can do your job. If redacted 46 pages, the Moab, forget it. Why did Donald J. Trump cover up JFK papers until 2012? Bamboozled again? I guess at Jeff Sessions is in charge of executive branch. Here are even more. At real Donald Trump and QAnon, you guys better watch out. You guys better watch out. Daddy, pay attention to me. You guys better watch out. Imposters have stolen your identities. Oh no. At POTUS, waiting until 2021 to release JFK papers? What happened to complete disclosure? Redacted 46 pages of FBI lovers? I guess Mueller wins and Hillary Obama still control DOJ, FBI, CIA. A spoiled little boy. That's how he sounds to me. You may not agree, and that's fine, but to me, that's how he sounds. At real Donald Trump and QAnon, maybe it's time we go duke it out in the backyard. Let's go. I'm going to beat you up. Come on. Like, this is like a 5-year-old. Maybe it's time we go duke it out in the backyard. Come on. What adult speaks like that? Honestly. Like, no, I'm talking adult. Like, not just in years only. I'm talking mature adult. I mean, you can be 20, 30, 40, 50, but still not be an adult, if you know what I mean. I'm talking adult. What adult talks like that? Let's go duke it out in the backyard. What let the CIA cover up killing JFK until 2021? Redacted measly few pages of FBI lovebirds. What happened to the 50,000? Did Macron eat I think it's Macron. What is it? Yeah. Eat them with escargot at state dinner? Remember us? We the people? Remember me? Remember me? Pay attention to me. That's what he's saying. Remember me? We were good friends, Donald Trump. Remember me? Pay attention to me, please. Buy me a chocolate bar, a Hershey bar. I love Hershey. Jerome Corsi, I got a good idea. At real Donald Trump and QAnon, I got a good idea. Why don't you guys go on vacation until 2021? We, the people, can fire Jeff Sessions and duke it out with coup d'etat criminals. Maybe we can hire somebody to read you that little book I just wrote. And he misspells it, of course. wart, I just wart, maybe be a good idea, or might be a good idea. Does that sound like an adult? Really? I got a good idea. I got a good idea. Why don't you guys go on vacation till 2021 and we the people, yeah, we'll do your job. We can do your job. We're smarter than you. We're bigger than you. We've got bigger fists. We're going to duke it out with the criminals. With the coup d'etat criminals. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Maybe we can hire somebody to read you that little book. And then everything will be all right. Might be a good idea, huh? Huh, Daddy? Huh? He was getting a big head and would say that he was getting our POTUS and Q's attention. He actually believed that they took his advice, as you can see in this small clip. Now, that's what I see, okay? That's what I see in these tweets. He's angry. He was friends with Donald Trump. He thinks that he is special, that he deserves special attention, that he has some special connection, and he's angry because he's not getting that attention. He's angry. And then when he was called out, he flipped. And he's totally turned on the movement. And he's causing a lot of division and a lot of dissent. And giving out a lot of disinformation, might I add. So let's just listen to him here, to what he has to say.
Okay, so first of all, the thing I wanted to mention to start out with today is that I know many of you were concerned when I was doing the tweet storm last week that I had lost confidence in Q and had abandoned Donald Trump. Well, that wasn't the case. I mean, what I was trying to do, and I think it succeeded, was to get Q and Donald Trump's attention to say, look, enough of this promising Moab and we get nothing in return. Everybody gets all excited, then everybody gets disappointed. It's, over-promising and under-delivering is a very bad strategy to hold an audience. And so I probably was a little aggressive in how I made the point, but it sounds like from what we've gotten, the Q got the point. Because I think we've gotten, since I did that tweet storm, and I know everybody, I saw all the comments on YouTube and people were, saying you got to, trust the plan, and people were mad at me and all kinds of other things. But, I just knew I was making the point, and everybody's reaction confirmed to me that this Q was going to hear it, and I'm sure it got back to Donald Trump. And
that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted Q to hear it and for it to get back to Donald Trump. And that's why he did it. And he thinks that they heard him and they adjusted whatever. So that's what he thinks. I don't agree, but now, so Corsi says tweet storm was to get Q and Trump's attention. So, on May 3rd, he made an angry video and talked about possibly going off on his own. Again, saying Q was preaching communism. I can't find the video. It was on Calm Before the Storm, Patriot Soapbox live stream, but I took a few notes. And this is, of course, Strazy that is saying all this. This is all her thread. Some comments Corsi said on his live stream. It started with Q's a communist and socialist post last week. It was not well received at the highest levels, and it shouldn't have been. So by telling us we shouldn't make money, Q's preaching communist and socialism. That's not what Q said, by the way. Not what he said. Q divided his own movement. No, he didn't. Q did not divide his own movement. Corsi is dividing the movement, not Q. If he thinks patriots should be poor, again, not what he said. Not what he said in the least. It's not good enough to sit on the sidelines telling people they are criminal if they are making money. Okay, telling people they are criminal if they are making, I think they're missing the word money there, is wrong. And that's not what he said. Not what he said. Q has been on the sidelines this week, except for some loony pictures he posted. And he's talking about the Apple headquarters, the circle, and the pictures of the aircraft and the freight, on the pallets, and the Hong Kong Apple store. That's what he's calling the loony pictures he posted. Yeah. Because he didn't understand them, of course, so they're loony. I was shocked on May 5th when Corsi announced that Q and CodeMonkey were compromised. He spoke as if he had inside knowledge. Here are a couple small must-watch clips. Now, this is not true. He had absolutely no knowledge of this and no inside knowledge, and not only is he lying, but he knows he's lying, and I'll show you. I'm going to point out something to you. Most of you that are familiar or longtime listeners know that one of my undergraduate degrees is in psychology, and I really am particularly interested in body movement and reading body movement and so forth, body language. And I'm going to point something out to you here in a second and show you that not only is he lying, but he knows he's lying.
I'm going to tell you what I'm told and how I understand what's going on. Q is both CodeMonkey and Q were compromised about 4/28, about a week ago, and I'm not sure CodeMonkey even yet today appreciates the extent to which CodeMonkey was compromised.
Okay.
Posting this nonsense.
Okay. So, did you catch that when he touched his nose? Now, that is a sign of, when somebody touches their nose like that before they talk, that is a clear sign of deception. So, he's, not only is he lying, but he knows he's lying, and he's giving it away by rubbing his nose before he says it, because it's complete and utter nonsense. And I'm going to show you why it's complete and utter nonsense, but it's utterly ludicrous what he's saying. So let's just listen again.
QAnon did, which were, the posts here, this Apple airplane, a jet blue airplane,
Hang on.
playing in a much more serious game. The CIA is going to be all over everything.
Okay, wait here.
About 4/28, about a week ago.
Okay, here we go.
And I'm not sure CodeMonkey even yet today appreciates the extent to which CodeMonkey was compromised. We're now playing in a much more serious game. The CIA is going to be all over everything. And the posts, the last post that QAnon did, which were, the posts here, this Apple airplane, a jet blue airplane, 1308 through 1309 and 1310, which I pretty much ridiculed yesterday when they came out as being more cryptic nonsense, and looked to me like this was now getting into the realm where Q is, basically incoherent, making no sense at all, and probably inviting a lawsuit. Posting this nonsense about Apple. Those airplanes didn't even fly to China.
See, this is utterly ridiculous. He's saying, first of all, he's saying that, CodeMonkey is compromised, the boards are compromised, Q is incoherent, he's posting these loony pictures, and the CIA is going to be all over the board and stuff. First of all, he has no inside knowledge whatsoever. Second of all, he's saying that because he doesn't understand what these pictures mean, he's saying that it's ludicrous and that it's incoherent and blah, blah, blah. Well, and what he's basing this on is the fact that some of the Anons, blew up the pictures of the planes and said, oh, it's a JetBlue airplane. But nobody can really tell that that is a JetBlue airplane. Nobody can, because it's just not clear enough to be able to tell that. So he's saying, well, JetBlue doesn't even fly there. Well, who says it's a JetBlue airplane? Okay, and of course, if we go back to what this person that gave me intel, now it's not Q, so we can't elevate it to the level of Q, but let's see, where is it? Not there. Let me see where, latest word, here. This is what this this person told me. The pic of Apple headquarters in Cupertino is where 80 servers storage configured with keys for authentication to the Apple's iCloud, similar to what Google Cloud and Amazon AWS Cloud did. Deep State did this so that China will have the key to access all secure data for U.S. government and what most corporations store in the cloud. The aircraft left San Jose Airport to Hong Kong carrying those servers. CIA, Deep State China now controls almost all significant cloud storage. So that's what was given to me. Now, this person is, not Q, so I'm not going to elevate it to the level of Q, but it sounds completely plausible to me. And nowhere in there is JetBlue. So we don't know what the aircraft was. So there you go. But of course, Dr. Corsi says that Q is babbling incoherently and posting all these silly pictures that are loony, and that the board's compromised and that Code Monkey has been compromised and so forth. So let's go back and just continue on with this, because there's lots more to say about this in particular. Hang on here. Got to find where I was. We're going back to here. Now, so, Corsi says Q and Code Monkey were compromised. Now, okay, I thought I had more about, okay. All right, some screenshots below are taken from that article. Corsi was trying to make his story believable by blaming Code Monkey. So, Code Monkey and QAnon both compromised 428. Disinformation photos with Apple was last straw. Decision at top levels made to pull QAnon board. Okay, there's absolutely, where the heck is he getting this? He has no inside information. Okay, decision at top levels made to pull QAnon board. Option to shut down QAnon rejected. New QAnon from WIN team now live with new trip code and 8chan board. Confidence reestablished. Hang on. Okay, hang on here. Sometimes when it gets that big, I lose myself on the page, so that's why. So the 8chan board, confidence reestablished. Now, and then Jerome Corsi over here, he continues, he says, Silicon Valley insider Anon. Do you really think Code Monkey on anyone could go up against them on their own turf? They could so easily compromise anybody at any time for any reason. It's their internet. You can't outcode them or outthink them in their own house. And then he puts at POTUS. And then he says, please take this seriously. Code Monkey can be compromised and may not know it. Right. Now, firstly, Silicon Valley inside Anon isn't any kind of known Anon. At best, this is just someone Corsi talked to. At worst, it's someone he made up. You can't just throw Anon at the end of someone's name and expect it to carry weight. And Silicon Valley insider Anon, I'm cautious, not scared. Code Monkey should be scared. Code Monkey probably lives in an apartment with his girlfriend. Give me 2 CIA hackers 2 hours. Code Monkey is owned. Code Monkey's been compromised. Bet on it. Like, he's making this stuff up. He's just making it up. Now, Code Monkey and the board owner respond. You can see below that Q has said back in March that a new board would be created. And for those not in the know, Code Monkey runs all the technical aspect on the boards. Q has spoken directly to him at time through open communications, referring to him as CM in order to fix bugs and exploits on the site. Code Monkey had this to say in response. Not sure what this guy is talking about or why he is starting drama with me. However, I am guaranteed that he does not know image boards or how image boards or 8chan works. Here on 8chan, anybody can create a board just by going to https 8channet create.php. Q Research board owner had his own take on things. Corsi being a retard on Twitter. And here's March 28th, and this is by Q. He says, CM, Code Monkey, locked out of Great Awakening. Sniffer detected traces of bypass override. Layers upon layers. New approach to silence. New board will be created. Team to secure. Time to complete. 1 to 2. Q. And down here on March 28th, we are being attacked on all devices used to talk. Great Awakenings is terminated. Locked. No further posts on Great Awakening. Kill. Source is abroad, not domestic. Q. And so new board was coming as of March 28th, 1 full month before Corsi implies that it was changed on his Q. Corsi is triggered, defensive, and telling blatant lies after being called out on April 29th. And I would agree with that. It's pretty evident to me. Many people became angry and were tweeting about Corsi. He would block them. He was losing it. He must have realized that his acting like a manipulative cult leader wasn't working. He kissed butt on May 6th. Now, I'm not going to go and listen to that because there's just too much to cover. People's suspicions were growing, so it didn't help the situation when Corsi gave a GoFundMe link to donate to General Flynn. Well, Flynn Jr. made a tweet telling them not to donate to any GoFundMe accounts. And this is Mike Flynn Jr., and that is his son, Michael Flynn's son. Do not donate to any GoFundMe accounts. We only support MikeFlynnDefenseFund.org. And then Lindy Jacob replying to M. Flynn Jr. and in the Matrix, Corsi keeps saying he knows your family. One would think he knew correct account. Does he know your family? And D. Slave says, do some Googling of Jerome Corsi and Mel Rockefeller, and then go from there. Corsi is a huge embezzler, over $1 million in 1995. Not what you think he is, just a huge liar. Go to the Chans. It's loaded with his past as well. Britt Wu said Dr. Corsi created a fake GoFundMe account for General Flynn. Do not donate to it. CJ Truth said Corsi is either not a smart man or a total con artist. Then Corsi tweets and says the previous GoFundMe link was a fraud. Many people had already donated to it. I am wondering who made that GoFundMe account. Jerome Corsi, correction, previously posted GoFundMe page for General Flynn is a fraud. This is the only fund General Flynn is using. MikeFlynnDefenseFund.org. Mueller forced Flynn to plead guilty by pressing him economically. Flynn had to sell his home to pay his legal bills at Real Donald Trump. And Sassy Dad replied, nice to see you made the correction after being called out for fundraising for yourself. Fraud. By that time, Anons were looking into Corsi's background. Some things would be very surprising to some. This is where more of the Neon Bolts screenshots are. See images below. And I held off on reporting until there was more info, which arrived today when Corsi opening his big yap on Twitter. But there's also, well, this, written by Mel Rockefeller, who has recently spilled the beans on global banking families. Corsi immediately told me that he already knew my identity because being in the anti-terrorism business, me and my partners routinely track Rockefeller family members, introducing himself as a creator of B'nai B'rith, a mutual fund in Israel. Corsi proposed that we establish a similar fund in Poland, relying on FISISX contacts. As usual, I gave everyone benefit of the doubt while also anticipating that this could be pre-staging for yet another fraud. I could have walked away. Instead, I chose to proceed because the link to Poland suggested this would provide an opportunity to profile those at the core of this ancient duplicity. My intuition proved correct. Corsi was also the first person I heard using the phrase preparing the minds to describe what I had been profiling, including their use of cinema to manipulate the national consciousness. So we knew Corsi had a background in finance, but B'nai B'rith, that's profound for many reasons. Jerome Corsi, who I outed as a Mossad agent in 1997 sting operation in London, Corsi and Piper Jaffray, broker Brad Amundsen, were integral to a fraud that took Minnesota investors for $1 million that the FBI refused to properly investigate. Instead, agents sought to portray me as responsible. Corsi is named as the author of several best-selling Israeli PSYOP books, including Unfit for Command, 2004, Atomic Iran, 2005, Minutemen, 2006, and The Obama Nation, 2008. Corsi continued to perform as an Israeli agent. In return for his role in stalking me, he was made into a best-selling author of a series of books written to advance Israel's long-term agenda. Those books, and that's the end of that little clip. Here are more clippings showing his interesting connections. Corsi's misadventure with Things Financial began well before he rose to prominence as a co-author of anti-John Kerry screed Unfit for Command. As the Boston Globe detailed, Corsi was a principal in that group that launched an investment venture in Poland in 1995 that eventually lost about $1.2 million, much of it raised from a group of about 20 Minnesota investors, at least 2 of whom received a court judgment against Corsi and the other principals, but had yet to collect any money from Corsi because, according to one investor, Corsi's assets had been moved into his wife's name. There was nothing to get out of him. Ties to B'nai B'rith, Mossad connections, and now Q calling out disinfo agents as Corsi simultaneously tries to make the claim that Q has been compromised, even though those of us who use the image boards like 8chan regularly know that that is such a remote and distant possibility as to be impossible. Now, I have created 2 mutual funds for the State of Israel for B'nai B'rith, said Corsi, an investment specialist who had worked for banks and for his own firms. Although neither fund succeeded because of lack of investor interest, I went to Jerusalem twice as a guest of B'nai B'rith. I worked 2 years of my life to get the funds done. I've been a strong supporter of B'nai B'rith and Jewish causes for 30 years, Corsi said. Added, Corsi, in an email, my current financial service company, U.S. Financial Marketing Group, is currently developing affinity marketing programs for Jewish social service workers, a plug he wants yet. Different contexts, Corsi, Amundsen, and James M. Mel Rockefeller of Arizona were principals of a group that launched an investment venture in Poland in 1995 that eventually lost about $1.2 million, much of it raised from a group of 20 Minnesota investors, Amundsen said. In his varied career as best-selling author, conservative journalist, and outspoken polemicist, Corsi has become one of the nation's most controversial political provocateurs, but the business deal that went sour before he became famous has made him the target of bitter criticism. Corsi's role as investor is perhaps the least known of his several careers, and 13 years after the Poland deal, the fingers of blame are still wagging. At least 2 of those investors won court judgments in separate cases filed in courts in Hennepin and Dodge counties in Minnesota against Corsi and his 2 partners to recoup a portion of the money lost in the Poland deal, but they never collected from Corsi. So, he also defended the Knights of Malta in a live stream the other day. He said he's not part of it, but if he was, it's not criminal. Someone also pointed this out. Why did Corsi try to tell people Loop Capital was not a big deal and try to divert the attention away from Loop Capital? Q told everyone to not lose focus on Loop Capital. Hopefully you can see why I no longer trust him. My loyalty is with Q and Trump. I'm no longer supporting someone who is clearly trying to divide this movement. Let's stick together, patriots. We have a job to do. Our POTUS needs us. Now, that is exactly where I stand as well. I believe that he is trying to divide this movement. I believe that he is giving out disinfo. I believe that he is lying and that he knows perfectly well that he is lying and making these things up to cover his own hide. And I no longer support anything he says. So I want that known, and I believe that we need to keep our eyes on where they should be and off of all this dissension and backbiting and this division. And we should stay loyal to Q and to Trump. We have Trump is put in a position of power over this country. He was elected. He's duly elected, and I think that it is our duty to support him, to pray for him, and to stand behind him. And I also believe in Q. I've seen too much information. I've seen too much to make me to not believe. And that's where I stand. I wanted everybody to know where I stand, because I think that this division needs to come to an end, and we need to unify again. Not that we all agree on everything, that's fine, but we need to recognize where disinformation is coming in and recognize it for what it is. There are enough shills out there, paid shills, paid CIA shills, that we don't need, so-called people posing as patriots to be causing this kind of division. So I would just encourage you to stay encouraged, to stay focused, and to keep your eyes on where they should be in supporting our president until such time as he shows himself unworthy of such support. But so far he has not. So that's where I stand, and I think it's important. I think that it was an important message for me to bring to you. So anyway, I will stop there, and I ask that you would have a good night and stay safe, and I will talk to you all later.